basic concept behind this machine is that if you put an arrow in front of TNT and then you detonate it, it will launch the arrow pretty long distance and pretty fast. That speed increases its damage, so it not only travels long distance but also can kill pretty much anything if you put enough TNT behind it. This easily kills full Prot 4 netherite. It can also kill a lot of entities at once. This is what the machine itself looks like. This is a TNT chamber. This part makes the arrows, and they come together here and explode. This is what the machine looks like on the inside. These blocks have to be made out of soul sand, otherwise the machine just simply won't work. If it is a solid block, the arrow will go too high and just hit the wall. Obviously that does not work. For something like a slab, it's too low and it will hit the bottom of the wall. Obviously the machine needs to shoot arrows, so I had to make a mechanism to efficiently produce and spread out the arrows. The first iteration was this. It's crap. So I moved on to this. This one is kind of slow, but it still gets the arrows kind of spread out. But since it's slow, I had to move on to something else. So I did this. This shoots 4 at the same time, and when it's done shooting, this wall will lower, drop it onto the soul sand, and it's ready to fire. For the machine to function properly, the arrows needed to be spread out across the entire ring of soul sand. So to do this, I had to set the dispensers a little bit back to use their natural inaccuracy to spread out the arrows on the glass. The arrow needs a lot of TNT compressed into one block to give it the correct velocity. So to do that, I've made this. So when it's activated, this starts with firing the arrows, but when it's done with that, this piston will come down and activate all of these dispensers. All of the TNT comes up into this top area where these quadruple piston extenders push it into this tube, and it comes up here. Launching the arrows. To detect the players within range, I've used a calibrated skulk sensor on a shrieker on an observer, which will give the output when it detects that the shrieker is shrieking. This system makes it so that only player movement will be detected. So if I'm walking around, it will detect it and will give an output. But if these pigs are walking around, it still detects them, but doesn't give the out because the shrieker only shrieks when the player makes a sound. To make this actually usable, you have to put them in the ground. So you have to have one spaced every like 30 blocks, and so that the players don't detect that they're being sensed, you have to waterlog the sensor and shrieker so they don't hear anything. To set up the skulk sensors, you want to make sure the skulk sensors are like just under the ground, and so you have them like in a line where you want them, and these are like branches and go onto the main part, which feeds into the machine itself. When the skulk sensor activates, the signal goes to this timing circuit, which stops the machine from firing while it is already firing. These parts make sure that the pulse is long enough for the machine to work and stop it from receiving a second signal before the rest of the circuit activates. The piston allows a signal to go through to the machine when not extended and prevents it when it is extended. These parts keep the piston extended for the appropriate amount of time, and this sends the signal to the machine itself. If you're just a normal guy just walking around, seeing a large machine that obviously does not have your best interests at heart might be a little sus. I have hidden the machine inside of a hill. This might seem a little suspicious because there is a unnaturally flat plane around it, but it is not nearly suspicious as a bunch of redstone just opened in the air. This means that I have to use a bunch of repeaters and timing circuit to make sure all these pistons come down exactly one tick before it fires the arrows. Obviously the piston system is unique for each hill, but you'll need 20 repeaters set to 4 ticks and 1 repeater set to 2 ticks in order to achieve the proper delay. If you are thinking about building this, make sure that you get all the timing correct for the TNT, because if you don't, your build might end up looking like this. This is not what you want. This is a very bad example of what might happen if you get the timing wrong. I got the timing wrong, and this is what happened. Don't be the person who this happens to. This is a schematic. This lever is the on and off switch. This button powers it manually. Over here is the input from the skulk sensors. Over here it goes to the pistons that will drop to let the arrows out. You want the head of the piston to be at ground level, like this. You also need to put 12 of any stackable item in this hopper. Thanks for watching. The link to the schematic is in the description, and remember, I lost the game.